What do you think fate actually looks like? We talk about it like it's a gift, a golden thread leading us towards some grand, inevitable glory. We like the idea of destiny because it makes us feel important, while stripping away the responsibility of our own actions. It's comfortable to believe that this universe has a plan, because it means we don't have to worry about the chaos of the void. But I want to ask you, have you ever felt the weight of a path that you didn't choose? Most people think fate is found in the grand moments, the slaying of a demon or the wearing of a crown, the closing of a prophecy. But they're wrong. The reality of fate is much, much smaller. It's found in the dirt. It's found in the 25 bones that you didn't want to collect. It's the mundane chores and the names that you're forced to carry. Fate is the moment that you realize that the silver blade in your hands isn't an achievement. It's a sentence. What makes us special? Why am I the one chosen to fulfill this task? Was it because I was the only person who walked by that tent today? Or is there some larger force at play? Some gravity pulling me towards a hero-shaped hole in this world. I spent my life trying to be a nobody just to stay alive, but the script has already been written, and tonight, the inkwell runs dry. They say history is written by the victors, but in Gielinor, it's written by the lucky. I'm standing in a tent in the middle of Varrock, listening to a woman tell me the world is ending. Again. It's a tired story, isn't it? A generational evil, a dark cult, a city on the brink. But then she says the name Wally. Wally. The savior of Varrock. The man who stood where I'm standing and 150 years ago drove a shard of silver into the heart of a demon. Wally. It's a name for a guy who sells cabbages or fixes leaks on a roof. It isn't the name of a legend. And yet for a century and a half, that name has been the only thing between this city and pure destruction. But why him? Was Wally a hero? Or was he just the only person who didn't walk past the tent that day? I look at my hands, stained with the dust of the Hill Giant Caves, and I realize that the prophecy doesn't care about my resume. It doesn't care that I'm a nobody. It only cares about the vacancy. There is a hole in this story shaped like a hero, and because I am standing here right now, the world is shoving me right into it. It's not a choice. It's that gravity. Fate is no longer a whisper. It is a command. The path to legend status apparently starts in the gutter. Literally. I have to find a key that Sir Pryson, a man who carries the blood of Wally, but none of his competence, has flushed down the drain. If you want to know the truth about heroes, just look at the errands they run. I decided to start with his key, and my first thought was a bucket of water to flush it down. It's an amazing feeling when logic actually works in a world of magic. You pour the water, the key flushes, and the machine moves on. But the sewers are more than a plumbing problem. There's something down there. I see an entrance to something darker. A nest. A king of rats that they call Scarius. I can feel his eyes on me. But I know I'm not ready for that king yet. I take one wrong turn and then another. These pipes that I'm surrounded by. I'm supposed to be the chosen one. The one who navigates the darkness. And yet I'm getting turned around in circles by a few brick walls and some giant rats. It's a reminder. The prophecy says I win, but it does not say that I won't look like an idiot doing it. You can be the protagonist and still be lost in the pipes. I find the key, cold, covered in filth, my first step towards becoming a legend, and I've never felt less dignified. And then, of course, we have Trayborn, a man with the power to warp reality and the mental capacity of a goldfish. He holds the second key, and he doesn't want gold or diamonds. He wants bones. 25 of them. For a normal traveler, this is but a nuisance. But for me, for a hardcore Ironman, this is a tax on my soul. 25 bones. Do you know what that represents? That's not just an inventory list. That is progress. That's my survival. Those bones represent hours of precision. Every kill a risk. Every prayer point a shield between me and the end of this account. And Trayborn just wants me to hand them over? To a man who won't even remember my face in 10 minutes? I worked so hard for those bones. I looked at my bank tab and I saw the prayer levels that I was supposed to reach. I saw the safety I was building. And now I have to give that away to satisfy some wizard's whims. This is where the nobody really meets the world. The world demands sacrifice, and it doesn't care if it hurts. I head to the pens. Those chickens and goblins didn't stand a chance. It became a montage of mundane slaughter. Every bone that I sacrifice to that tower is a piece of my strength that I'm giving away for a piece of metal that might save the city that doesn't even know I'm here. If this is what it means to be a hero, then heroism is just a series of really expensive favors. Finally, I meet the captain. He's the only person in Varrock who seems to be living in the same reality as I am. He doesn't like Sir Pryson. He doesn't trust the grandson of a legend just because of a bloodline. He sees Pryson for what he is. A man coasting on a name he didn't earn. The captain gives me the final key. Not because he thinks I'm some hero, but because he's a pragmatist. He knows that if he keeps the key, the sword stays locked away while the demon burns the city. He's handing me the liability. He's looking at me and saying, "Better you than me." I go to the chest. I pull out Silverlight. It's supposed to be this transcendent moment, the hero claiming the blade. But as I hold it, it doesn't give me an extreme confidence. I look at my reflection in the blade, and I don't see Wally. I don't see a demon slayer. I see a guy who's tired, who's lost his bones, who's covered in sewer water, and who's being forced to face a generational evil because everyone else was too busy or too smart to do it. I'm not Sir Pryson. I'm not the captain. I'm not even an all-powerful wizard Trayborn, a man who forgets his own name. I am just the person holding the sword. And in this world, that's all that fate requires. The sky breaks. They say when a legend is born, the stars watch in silence. But tonight, it's raining. I like to think that those aren't just clouds. It's the tears of the legends who came before, watching another Wally stumble into the arena. They're weeping because they know how this ends. I stand before Delrith. He is a generational evil, a world ender, a nightmare made of shadows, and yet the hardest part of this fight isn't his claws, it's my own head. Caratus, Sedetis, it's not it. I've been standing in the mud for hours, a demon's breath hot on my face, and I'm fumbling over syllables like a kid in a spelling bee. It feels deeply human and deeply stupid. The world is ending, and the only thing standing between us and this void is whether or not I can remember a 5-word poem. Delrith isn't a boss. The words are. My own memory is the hardest part of this fight. I kill him, and he rises. I kill him again, and he laughs. There's a comedy in having to kill this world-ending demon over and over again because I can't remember a simple incantation. It makes the world-ending threat feel like a small hurdle. But eventually, the ink takes. The incantation clicks. The silver blade finally finds its home, and the storm vanishes as quickly as it arrived. The world goes back to its calm, meditative self. People go back to their cabbages, and Sir Pryson goes back to his cell. I look at Silverlight. The prophecy is fulfilled, but I don't feel like a legend. I feel like a guy who just finished a very long, very dangerous shift at a job that he never even applied for. As I walk out of the circle, the weight shifts. This wasn't the end of a story. This is just the preamble. The sentence of fate has been passed, and I've served my first day. The path to Crandor is open. That demon, he was just a hurdle. The dragon is a destination. This has been the Late Night Toke. We have a long way to walk.